I had to press a really strange button. Okay, right. I didn't even realize I had to do that. Why? Okay. Right, so I hope this goes ahead because I actually I'm trying to work it out and see if it works out. So far 0 dropped frames, that's great. Hi everyone. I am sorry that things got a bit delayed, but we are live. And one watching. Yeah, I'm the one that's watching. Okay. We're live. I'm Marissa. I am a freelance writer, editor, and journalist. I'm based in Melbourne. And I'm doing writing live streams because I freelance and so I'm isolated, and I want to get back into a daily writing habit of writing my book. I'm writing crime fiction at the moment. Yeah, and in the absence of trying to form a writing group in the middle of COVID and whatever else, I thought maybe we should just do live streams, and then people can join me if they are up and willing to write at the same time, or they can watch later and like feel accountable, I guess. And people can chat, like, you know, ask me questions if you want in the chat and everything as well. And I will have a chat window open, and so I will be able to see chat and stuff. So if you haven't come to the previous live streams, there's a playlist. You can watch everything. You can read the book and writing on my Patreon if that's your thing. If you're just here to like feel a bit of social pressure and work on stuff, that's great too. That's awesome as well. I'm all for that. So what I usually do is I have 10-minute writing sprints, but today you can see my program up and running because I'm going to be typing some stuff and writing some stuff by hand, but typing some stuff up. So unlike most other people, usually I stream on Twitch as well, but for this week I've gone and made a bit of an error in how I have scheduled things. I'm only going to be streaming on YouTube, which is fine. It's fine. It's a thing. It's okay. So usually I handwrite everything. I have a book and I write like the most important things that I want to get down about scenes and characters and so on. I try to write chronologically. It doesn't always work, so I've kind of gotten to the 30,000 mark on this book in total account. And usually when you get around to that point, then you start getting all the scenes coming in where you're like, oh, you know, I need to go back and add that in chapter 2 or whatever. I also don't usually divide my book up into chapters until I've written the whole thing and I can see where breaks happen naturally. So it's just a long list of scenes / parts / what have you. So I'm actually in the middle of a scene that's been handwritten of writing one, but I have, I believe, another scene to write up. Yes, so I have another scene that I need to type into my program. So the program you see on the screen right now is called Why Writer 6. It's a program created by another writer, an Aussie writer called Simon Haynes, and it's free to download from the Space Jock website because he wrote the Hell Space Jock series. So if you just do a quick Google for Simon Haynes and Why Writer 6, you will find it. And it's pretty cool. It breaks things up into scenes. It gives you word counts. It gives you a tally, like a way to track goals, a way to track where characters are and where scenes are, and locations and props and things, if there are things that you lose track of that you need to know. about. So he's kind of thought of everything, and then he's put it down in a way so that if you need to, you can move scenes and chapters around if you realize that you're in the wrong order and things like that. So, and character bios, just all sorts of stuff, right? So it really depends on how you write and how you want to use it. And there's all this stuff about how to create a plot. So if you want, you can tag things as an action scene or a reaction scene, for example. It's really useful. And usually what I do is I write most of it by hand. I type it up into YWriter 6. When I typed up, I usually had like secondary information like descriptions and stuff. And then I end up getting like quite a huge chunk of it, if not all of it, done in YWriter 6, and then you can export it as an RTF file, which is a rich text file, and those files you can open up in Microsoft Word. And when you do that, you can save it as a Word file, and you can edit it and do all sorts of the usual Microsoft Word things that you do to it. And that's when I send it off to an editor. Usually, so when I do updates for my patrons on Patreon, I usually give them the next scene that I've written up every other week. So if you subscribe to me on Patreon, you get to see the next scene or something that's behind the scenes from the book. So maybe it's like me trying, if I can't write the next scene until I work out a character, then that's what you'll see. So I try to give them a reasonably good chunk of things. So if you subscribe to me, you can go back and read from the very beginning, from the first scene, as chronologically as I write it, and you can see when I mess up the chronology and I get something that needs to go back into, chapter 2 or something, but it's turned up after maybe we've come past a point that's probably chapter 5. So yeah, so you get to see the whole messy, and it is the rough first draft, so you get to see the whole messy business of trying to work out what's going on. And I usually start with some very vague outline, but I'm not tethered to it because I know it's going to change, and it does change. And my story is very character driven, so the characters drive the plot, and I think about characters a lot. So yeah, that's what's happening. I am going to actually hope and pray that this doesn't die on me simply because things are open. It took a lot of tech issues this morning trying to work stuff out. Like I said, I've gone schedule streams in a particular way so that this week at least I'm only doing them on YouTube, not on Twitch. But you can follow me on Twitch because I do play games as well, and my username on Twitch is Mari Still Plays. You can follow me there, and all the links should be in the YouTube video description. So yeah, the way I'm going to schedule these things is going to probably be very different in the future. And as you can see, I've got like a lot of headlines or names for the scenes, and none of these actually end up occurring. Like, there was supposed to be a drug subplot that never happens, and yeah, it just didn't end up in the plot, hey, and I'm actually kind of glad about that. And I'm going to make sure that OBS is recording the right thing. No, it's not. Oh, of course it's not. Of course it's not, because I didn't think about it. Well done, Mari. There you go. There you go. So, you see a very blank screen. This is the inside of YWriter 6. I'm going to go up here, and this is actually whose name is not Inspector Boss, it's Chief Inspector Pereira, at least for now. And I need to probably and it's going to be like it says it's in chapter. I'm not really sure it's going to stay there. And none of this is also going to be formatted very well, like I'm not too fussed about it as long as I get it down. Okay, in my hands, I'm actually going to pop this off here. See how much I can write. I need one of those things, you know, the things that people have in fancy houses, where you lean recipe books. It's been like cookery books, and you can, if enough counter space to cook everything and more, so you have a little bit of the extra space devoted to display on a lovely stand. That recipe. I think that's, you know, I need one of those. I need one of those for my journal typing, but something I might do a similar chart just here, but let's see if that works. It'll work with it, I think. I'll have to look straight at you. Let me cursor. Okay, click on that. Oh, cursor jumping. My neck hurts. You're just joining us. Hi. My name's Marissa. Welcome to the ride with me. We're not doing sprints, really. You can keep working on whatever you've got to work on, and you can tell us in the chat what it is if you like. But yeah, I have been writing for about an hour, and what I'm writing actually is, if you weren't here at the start, if you haven't seen previous live streams, is, and you're probably going to get me saying this if you have, but stuff I've written down in the book because I handwrite my scenes. And it's a very roundabout way of doing it, but like sometimes I just like to come on. Comes out. But it hurts, and like right now my neck is hurting. It's just staring at the screen. Yeah. Hope you guys all doing great this morning, or whatever time it is for you, wherever you are. No, taking a bit of a break. The stretch seems to be running for like, I don't know, 45 minutes. We're going to end the stream in 45 minutes, so break and keep ready. And this is a long thing. I didn't realize how long it was, but it is pretty long. I was excited the other day when I wrote this because sometimes I have to put blanks in for my characters' names, and they don't help them. You know, I know for most people, sometimes some of them have names. Jans had a name from the start, for example. Jans is one of the more main characters, not quite the main protagonist, but supporting role, let's say. It's definitely not mine. So he had a name. Some of his friends had a name. You know, yeah, his friends had a name. A few other people, key people in the book had a name, but my main characters don't have names. They have the names they give each other when they call each other, you know, older sister, younger sister, or something like that, because I've got two sisters who are protagonists. But it's been nice to kind of focus on my own work. I actually have been having a lot of tech issues with various different things this week. People can make a great joke if they want to, but I heard that it might be a Mercury retrograde. I'm already aware of that. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and so I am going to be massively delayed on a lot of the work I'm doing, I think. So just been trying to get stuff done. And so sleeping has been a bit weird. As in point, I didn't sleep before this live stream. I was up and working. I might sleep after this live stream is done. So I'm happy that the live streams are allowing me, even in a really busy week with work where everything tech related has just gone wrong, the live streams are still allowing me to create and maintain a creative writing habit. And that's good because it makes sure that I keep going with writing and I can finish this book, because I've liked this book. I really love it. It's always interesting to me to see where it's going to go next. And now it's just But there are other ideas, there are some cool ideas that I want to try, and I'm like so excited for them and things, and so I want to kind of want to know what's happening. uh, so hard. Mm. So hard. Ah. Yeah, I'm glad that I decided to do this. Mm. You know, and I've been thinking about the right time to get online and to let people know that I'm online and stuff. But yeah, you know what, like, it's fine. It's fine. Tell people that I'm online, but it's too. Oh, that's interesting. Seems like Netflix may be down. Hmm. So that was interesting. That was I've written a scene that is apparently 1,957 words long. Jeez, and I didn't actually add a lot of secondary information on my agreement still do that. So, and here I was thinking it's only to be part of the backstory, but I think it's just on a life of its own. It's not going to be part of the backstory. It will be in the book for sure. That's just weird. Yeah. So I just took myself my wheelbarrow off. And so my total word count right now of what's in YWriter 6, what's been typed in, is 38,805 words. Oh my god, that's brilliant. So there's going to be more because there's still 1, 2, 3 pages, because this is the end of the scene. So I finished the scene. That scene is done. And I guess this is the next thing I have to type, but I can't type it yet because I haven't finished writing it. So I stopped in the middle of it. And I'm kind of seeing in my head now, like I was thinking about it when I was typing it up, about subplot, like that's emerging, and it's really interesting. Someone was talking to me about the book the other day and had a suggestion, and I was like, involved who should be a protagonist in the story. And I really want these two young sisters to be protagonists in the story. I think that would be fun and that would be cool. But I also thought the suggestion the other person had was fun and cool. I did want this to sort of happen, so I felt like while I was writing it, I was like, oh, okay, so this subplot kind of fits into the suggestion my friend had. And maybe I get to keep my two main protagonists, but they get to find out all about this subplot. And so this subplot, instead of just being kind of a little very mini thing, becomes like a growing theme throughout this book. And if I ever get around to writing sequels for this book, and the sequels for, and it has an impact for protagonists, even though they're still impact for them and stuff. So yeah, I think I could make it work and like kind of make it a little bit bigger than what it was previously going to be. Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of like minor character being a minor character, but like having this massive impact on what's going to happen in the book. Kind of, I want to talk about it without giving too much of what I'm thinking away, because I don't know, like I might write the story in a couple of weeks' time, realize that that's not the direction it's going in. So I don't want to, I only want to be sure that I'm talking about things that are not spoilers and things that that I know for sure are going to be in the book as well. So, I hope like this entire experience has been useful for people. We have 20 minutes. I didn't think it would be so quick. I finished like that. Yeah, 20 minutes to go. I don't know. I don't think I want to continue writing this scene right now, because if I get into it right now, I won't want to stop. I'd want to continue for another hour, and I really can't continue for another hour. I really do need to like go have a break and do what there's lots of other things to be done, and I have a book to edit, which is not my book because, like I mentioned earlier, I do work as a editor as well. And if you are watching this after the fact, leave a comment and state what time you would like watch it live. What time suits you best and what time works best for you. Uh, um, thinking about something else I want to talk about the book. I guess people often want to know like how you come up with ideas for books and things. Generally, like I started by saying to myself, for this book, not necessarily other books, but for this particular book, I started by saying, I want to write a crime fiction novel because I've never done that before, but I love the genre and I want to write one sitting through like a red there, and I want all the protagonists to be young kids. And at the time, I seriously thought they'd both be in school, they'd both be teenagers. Um, and then I had a brilliant idea for involving a lot of aunties in it and having one kid create an auntie glossary of all the different types of stuff, which a lot of people loved. They really loved that. Yeah. When I talk the book, I talk about the auntie glossary a lot. I think people are like so excited about that, and I don't think they realize that this is the book I am writing a book about the auntie. Um, it'll be fun. I'm excited, and so I need to think about how to explain that to people. I think a little bit better. I don't think I do that very well right now. But yeah, I started by thinking, okay, if I was going to write crime fiction, what would it be like? How would it work if it was set there? Sort of crime. And I didn't come up with the crimes at first, the ones I started thinking about them. I had a few ideas and I made notes about ideas for crimes for future books and series because I started visualizing it as what would happen and what would happen to each character or the timeline of the series. And I was able to then sort of in my head create a timeline or an outline for the first book, and then I was ready to start writing. But I did a lot of scribbling of little notes, of little dialogues, snippets, and scenes between people, so that just to kind of see what worked as their relationships to each other, because I had to figure that out in order to figure out what the plot was going to be. Yeah. So some of the snippets won't go anywhere. It's just very much exploratory thing. And I'm kind of in that phase right now where I have flashes and ideas about the next book that I want to write, which is not connected to this one at all. But came out of an idea of that it's just a very philosophical idea. What happens if you do this and then you do that, and then okay, if that's happening, how can a person be involved, and kind of went from there. And so I have potential characters, I have some names with them, some idea of what they're like, I have a very vague idea of what I want to happen. Very much in general, I don't have an outline or a timeline, I have a very happen on the themes, because it started from philosophy, they are tangentially related about how you build a story around that kind of question from an idea. And I've gotten to the point where I'm writing down snippets. Oh, that would be cool to have in there, and that would be cool to have in there. And how would this work in this situation? How would that work? Like at that point of jotting down snippets, and I do this because like I can keep them in my head, but I'm not gonna probably remember them then when I come to write stuff. I'm not gonna remember all of them. So I write them down, put them down somewhere where I know I can access it later, because I can't. Some people can, and I don't know how they do this, but I don't like to write more than like I think I would go a bit crazy and nothing would get done, So I like to write one book at a time. And I want to get a bit faster at doing so that I don't get to a point where I've been thinking about it for so long that it's no longer new and exciting. Not bored with it, but you find it hard. So I have to work up the same level of enthusiasm, I guess. And you have to then leave it for a while and then come back to it. But in the meantime, you haven't worked on anything else because you only want to work on one book at a time. So it doesn't work out in my favor that way. So I just want to. That's partly why it's a daily writing habit, or like a regular writing habit, and then I get to put words on pictures. And then I get more and faster. Yeah, so that's how I come up with ideas. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else. In my previous book, because this is the second one I'm writing, I've written another novel, and it's unpublished, but it has more. Well, I don't want to say it has won awards because that's wrong. It has been longlisted for awards, so it is of some level of caliber. It's pretty okay. It just requires a publisher at this point, and trying to find that is really hard. Trying to find one was being really hard. Yeah, I'm not sure people would view it as a very easy sell. Maybe. Yeah. I know that there are some people who are already like, oh, you're right, correct, Richard. Oh, we want to read it when you're done. We'll see how it goes. That's the thing, like I talk about it so that I'm held accountable, and I also wanted to check and see if it was just me that thought the idea was cool, and it wasn't actually cool. But people liked it, so it excites me. So sometimes I do think that this book is called Gin and Tonic. My previous book is called Sedition at the moment, so I think Gin and Tonic will end up getting published before Sedition does. I think people will find it easier to sell Gin and Tonic. And then if people like Gin and Tonic, they will say, go read Sedition, and maybe, let's hope so. and then People be like, sequel, sequel, sequel. Because I can see that if I make this as interesting as people think it's going to be and as funny, hilarious as I think it's going to be, um, and I think people will want a sequel, and I am going to die. Like a book syndrome, I'm going to die because the next book I want to write is not the sequel to this. Because I have, even though I said like I have ideas for a timeline of a series with this series, and I want it to be a series. It's very vague. I stopped thinking about a lot of that the moment I wanted to focus on this one, and I had more of an idea for the first one. And I'm gonna have to still spend some time thinking about it. And that's not gonna happen until I write this other book, this third book. The book's called, I can tell you what the name of it's called, The Real Estate. I think it's gonna be even more amazing and even more fun. Just love it so much. And people love the idea too. Like when I've run it past them, they go, and so I'm gonna have to, as soon as I finish this, I'm gonna have to start writing that, because then I'll be ready by the time Tonic finds a home and gets published and people read it and get excited and want to see. So hopefully by then I'll be done with the real estate and might be ready to, might have thought a lot about and be ready to write go for gin and tonic. So no, which might be chili and lime. I wanted titles that were funny but reflected something about the book. So gin and tonic is important in the book, but I don't think anyone has realized that yet. And so I wanted to do stuff around food but cultural things. So chili and lime is pairing, because you cook with chili and lime, but you also you hand dried chili and lime up to fend off spirits. It's a superstition. So yeah, it probably will have something to do with that the second one. I don't know. Things like that. I think I had a list somewhere. So there's gin and tonic, and chili and lime, and I don't remember what else. Rice and curry. Probably not rice and curry. I think rice and curry is a bit too broad. But like things like that. I mean, I could say cumin and coriander or something, but I don't think it has to have a ring to it as well. So think about it. Think about it. I'm sure that I came up with a list of at least about 4 potential titles. So, and I just decided, look, let's call this first one, and I can go from there. And at the time, when I first started writing it, I'm gonna have to, like, it's fine, it's a placeholder, and I'm probably gonna have to call this, and I'll come up with it once I finish writing it or whatever, but for now it's a placeholder. But then it actually made sense. It turned up in the story. It was like serendipitous, like gin and tonic suddenly had a relevance to the story, and I was like, wow, okay, did me naming that make that happen? Was that always going to happen? So it makes you think about the nature of creativity and how these things work. Was it a coincidence, or was it definitely going to happen once I decided this would happen? talking about this book. Gin and tonic, gin and tonic. So gin and tonic wouldn't turn up in it. Who knows? So I was trying to remember. I'd have to do. I think I wrote it down in a journal, and so I'd have to dig it out and have a look at it. So hopefully I'll get to do that. Oh. If you're watching this, well, tomorrow is the 27th in Australia, but it's probably the 26th for anyone in the US or in the UK who wants to watch. In the UK, it will be around about 6 p.m. also in the UK, and it'll be 1 p.m. in the US on Tuesday, which is the next time we're live streaming this week. And so it could be 5 in the morning in Melbourne and 2 in the morning in Perth. Sorry. So early rather. Yeah, still trying to work out what would be like a very good schedule for me with the kind of work I have on right now. So we'll see how it goes. But whether you watched it live or whether you're watching it later, let me know if you have questions about writing that you want me to answer, questions about my book in particular, or if you have suggestions for times and days and things that work better for you, things like that, or just anything you want to say, let me know. Leave a comment. My social media is also open, so you can always chat on there or send me a message. And there are links in the description, so you can watch the playlist of the previous live streams. You can follow me on YouTube and Twitch. So on YouTube, I'm Marisavitranayaka, and on Twitch, I am Mari Still Plays. And there should be links for all those things, again, like I said, in the description. And if you want to read the crime fiction story, all 38,805 words of it as I write it, just be forewarned, lots of blank spaces. I don't have names, but you get to name a character if you subscribe to Patreon. So the Patreon link is in the description, and you can click it and yeah, read stuff, read really cool stuff. I do wish it was easier to read text on Patreon. So one of the things I might do is like send out a PDF version at some point. And see if I'm willing to do that. So yeah, thanks for being here. What else to say? The playlist, Patreon, my website's also listed if you want to see stuff I do. And yeah, you can follow me on social media, message me. I've got suggestions and things. And there's a mailing list that you can join as well if that's your thing. And I will see whoever shows up. Oh, thanks for being here. Bye.